Mr Speaker, one thing that you learn when you door knock is that you hear some of the most personal stories and you actually learn what's happening on the ground. And can I say this? This is a very regular conversation that I have with people, and it goes like this. Why are Labour so out of touch? And it goes like this because people understand that it's been a tough couple of years, but they also understand that they need a government that's going to put policies in place that will actually secure their future. And people understand what we were handed. They understand we had a major global recession. They get that we've had several massive events in Canterbury. We had a $5.5 billion bill there. They understand the blowout in ACC. They understand when the opposition have unfunded policies. So can I say this, Mr Speaker? I understand some of the situations have been raised by the opposition, but some of those people who come through my office, and I've had 7,000 constituents, get it. They're smart, they're intelligent people, and what they get and what they want is a party that's going to have a plan and policies to be able to ensure that their futures are guaranteed. So let's talk about what our plan is. What we have done is massive in the time that we've been in government. We've reformed the tax system. We've significantly reduced regulation in the Reform Management Act. We've reduced regulation in the building legislation. We've been aggressive in terms of free trade with Hong Kong, Malaysia and now India. We've done a significant amount in terms of the reform of governance within Auckland. We've done a whole lot of things that are all about improving the economy in New Zealand, because what we know is that it's not government that creates a whole lot of jobs, it's actually small businesses out there, and that is the best thing that we can do for some of those families. So what I want to make very clear, Mr Speaker, is that we on this side of the House care just as much as the people on the other side of the House. The difference is that people out there are smart, they're intelligent, and they understand that we've got policies that add up, that we've made some really hard decisions to help some of our most vulnerable. And can I just briefly touch on Christchurch? It is really tough down there. This is actually huge for our country. And my biggest question to the Labour Party actually today is, you're going to stand up and give these speeches about Christchurch, but how can you stand up and give those speeches when the Labour Party have not actually said how they would pay for the rebuild of our second largest city? And when we hear $5 billion worth of spending policies, taking off GST in terms of fruit and vegetables, the $5,000 tax-free policy that David Cunliffe's announced, all of these things, people are smart. They understand that we can't afford that when we're trying to do the basics just to rebuild our second largest city. So my message for the Labour Party is the biggest thing that people say to me is that they're stuck in a time warp. They're living in 2004. They're not in 2011. Their policies are all about spend. They're not prepared to make hard decisions in terms of reforming our economy, reforming our social welfare system, ensuring that we have standards in our education system so that we don't have a whole lot of young people unemployed. But what we've got here is a very clear contrast, and we've got a very intelligent electorate, partly because of social media, because people can actually look at what the costs are of people's policies, and people get that this side of the House are prepared to make really hard decisions in the social area, in education and the economy to ensure that we turn this country around, which we've started to do in one of the hardest periods our country has seen. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter whether I've got a constituent in Grey Lynn or in the CBD, they get it. They understand that we care just as much as the opposition, but we've got the policies to turn this country around.
The time for this debate has expired, so call now private and local order of the day number 1.
Westpac New Zealand Bill, third reading.
Chris Tremaine.
I move that the Westpac New Zealand Bill be now read a third time. Mr Speaker, this is a private bill promoted by Westpac New Zealand Limited. To date, the bill has been steered through the House by my colleague Craig Foss, and it is a privilege to be able to steer this bill through its third